ZombieTech. Welcome to ZombieTech, a forum for engineers, scientists, and inventors to ponder on the technologies needed to survive the inevitable zombie apocalypse.
She's Addie.
He's Whisker.
And who do we have this week?
Today we have Nikolay Georgiev of Open Source Ecology. And I guess we'll just dive right in. Hi, Nikolay.
Hey, Addie.
So, this open source ecology project, it's kind of been the it thing, the baby of the open source world, and it's kind of been just talked about all over the place. Can you tell us a little bit of what it is and what's the ideology behind it?
Yeah, it's open source hardware. So the ideology is you're thinking how you can cover the needs of the masses of the people. So you're asking yourself the question, how can people produce their own food? How can they build their own houses, generate electricity, and just build stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're thinking, we have this already in our civilization,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're thinking, okay, so what is the smallest scale to do all this? And that's what we're trying to pursue with the Global Village Construction set.
Okay.
So this is the set of the 50 machines with which you can do all this on the smallest scale possible.
Okay. And, this is perfect for our zombie apocalypse because once everything goes to zombies, we're going to need this global village construction set to rebuild society and actually have food.
Yeah, these guys have got the right idea. They're trying to help people like in third world countries, developing nations, and what that be able to build their own villages and sustain themselves. But,
Right.
That's only, one goal, I think, of the project, the way that we look at it, because once you have an open source instruction set for how to build all of the tools to be able to do a small scale civilization, not only have you helped bootstrap up everyone that may be having a hard time participating in a globalized economy right now, but you're also creating a situation where you have a set of instructions for rebuilding civilization after any disasters happen in a very efficient and cheap manner, and that is also an extremely valuable goal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the interesting thing here is that because all the information is saved digitally, all digitally saved information could stay, if we continue with the digital technology,
Mm-hmm.
for hundreds of years.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're creating right now, what we're doing, this value, digital value, can be used for all other generations
Yeah.
which are coming.
Yeah.
And it is just amazing when you think that, wow, our work, it's not only for us, it's not only for our community, it's not only for the communities in the other continents or in other parts of our country,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also for all other generations
Right.
which are coming.
Right. Right.
Well, we can do this right now, and that's just amazing.
A long-lasting impact started now. Yeah. So you guys have 50 tools. Hardcore, tools like farming, like tractors and brick builders and such. Who decided on what kind of machines to actually build? Like, who decided on the 50? And how did they make those decisions?
Martin decided on the 50 machines.
Okay.
And what is important to know that all the machines have specific values. You have open source, you have low cost, you have modularity, do it yourself, high performance. You have to use as much as possible local resources, and all this should be done with open business models. So you have also more values, but all these machines should follow these values. And we have a specification where we have like I think there were 42 questions and each question brings a point, and then for every machine you can have a score.
Okay.
And I don't think we have officially published the scores for all machines, but generally just answering all the questions for the machines, then you can come up with a set.
I see. So the top scoring ones become the set, and the low scoring ones just, yeah, okay.
Yes, and it can be argued generally whether some of the machines fits in the set or not, but we don't want to spend time with arguing.
Right.
we want just
to
build them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you finish the set, you get all the plans done for that, the ones that are included initially. And, there's nothing stopping you from continuing on with the project and adding more beyond the initial set. There really is no reason to sit there and argue too much about what to include, because you can continue doing it. You could make a subset later and just keep going.
Yes.
So, I mean, so did he just sit down and come up, look at a list of all the possible tools and then rate them? Or was it I've had experience in farming and I know that I required XYZ, so I'll start with this first and rate this smaller group first?
Well, I think, first I'm not sure, but I think both. Both.
Okay.
I mean, it all comes just with natural progression. You see what are your needs, and then you're thinking more about the future, and then you specify, okay, we'll need this and this and this.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, in terms of actually, so this started in 2006, if I'm not mistaken, and
Yes.
how long has it taken to get the machinery that builds these tools? Would you know?
What do you mean? What do you mean by machinery?
So
she's asking how much work and effort and money and time did it take to get all of the tools required to build these tools?
Oh, I'm not sure again. I think so. The tools you need for building, you're acquiring them just when it's needed.
Okay.
It's interesting. Coming from more of a software side of things, we call it bootstrapping. The project obviously has to have a lot of tools in order to make the prototypes for these open source designs. But I think once they have their set complete, that they won't necessarily have to use tools outside of the set. They can continue designing more with the tools included in the set. That'll be really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So then how many people does it take to put these machines together, to put the tools that you guys have prototyped together?
Well, that's a good question.
I know I've seen the number 20 being thrown around a bit in the FAQ, but I mean, does that mean it's 20 non-specialized people, or?
No, 20 people, that's too much. I was thinking more like, it depends also how quickly you want to do it. But currently, I think most of the tools till now at Factory Farm were built, I suppose, but in parallel by two or maximum 3 people.
What?
And
It's great, isn't it?
2 or 3 people?
At the same, I guess this is my
Wow.
guess. but so you have the prototyping of the machine. So it takes time, and it is possible that as a linear sequence in time. Before that, there were more people who worked on the machine. I mean, you were using also the global knowledge through the internet to ask questions and experts and to call some people. So you're using also this knowledge and you're for the prototyping.
So actually, can you take us through the process of the development of a single tool as to like what all happens during that time span from just saying, okay, this is what we want to make to, okay, now it's made?
Okay, let's try. I think first and maybe the most hard part is the design. So you have to get a good design which has all the values, or let's say most of the values for the GVCS machines.
So the low cost, the modularity, the...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And this was proved with the power cube, with the CV press, with the tractor. So the designs were good enough, and now we're working more on them. But for example, we tried with the steam engine, and we couldn't get a good enough design. So Mark Norton, who developed one design of the steam engine, after he developed the design, it was given for a peer review, but there were few concerns about the design. And then the design work stopped until we find a better design. So the first step is design, and then when we have a good design, it gets prototyped. In most cases, this happens at factory farm, where you have either marching or the people who are coming with dedicated project visits for the prototyping. Or, for example, there's a metal shop, Swagger shop near factory farm, or at other place where the prototyping has taken place for some machines or could take place. And so then is the prototyping phase. You're building one prototype, and then you just see how it works and what you can improve again.
Sure.
And then you're making second prototype, third prototype, until you have the final version.
Okay. And are these, so once they're quote unquote done, are the designs ever improved upon when something new comes along, or are they for all intents and purposes done until the last tool is finished?
It depends on the people.
Okay.
It depends on the people who are using them and building them. We have the power cube. It's already officially finalized, but there is one guy, Tom Griffin, who is building it on another place, I think in Texas.
Okay.
And he's making improvements.
Oh, great.
So
Great.
It's not something fixed.
Sure.
You have the third prototype, the final version, but if you see that you can do it better, great. Yeah. So you add the improvements.
Right.
That's one of the beautiful parts about the whole open hardware concept. Because it's open and because it's legally protected as open, there's absolutely nothing stopping anybody from taking what they see as a good idea, making it better, and republishing it so that other people have access to that information. It's a great, great thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, in terms of these tools, like the prototypes and such, how are these tested for endurance and for usability? Like, is there an actual farm that they're being tested on, or do you have farmers that you say, okay, can you guys test these machines and see what you think about them?
Okay, so there's first factory farm.
Okay.
The goal is to have all the machines working at factory farm. Testing happened at factory farm with the compressed brick press, with the tractor. We tested it, I think, 1 or 2 months ago, and it had problems, which is very good. I mean, through the intensive testing, we discovered problems with the machine, and I think the fix is known, and now we have to add all these fixes which we have discovered. So this is one option for testing. Other testing options, I haven't heard real examples, but one guy almost replicated the CB press without automation. So basically, he's able to test it and see how it works.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you guys have, what, I guess I should ask this question before I ask the next one. What projects do you guys have that are mostly done?
So the goal till the end of the year is Power Cube, CB press, tractor, and soil pulverizer.
Okay.
We have them as final versions, in which we will need to include also the last improvements which we have.
Okay.
And the goal is to open source them till Christmas. This will be the Christmas gift to the world.
Great.
Open sourcing these 4 machines.
So they're not yet released as of yet.
No.
Okay.
I mean, some documentation is released, and that's how the CB press got replicated.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's not completely.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's not completely.
Okay. And have you guys had interest from local farmers or even some of the communities in third world countries, contacting you guys saying we'd love to not test it, but we'd love to start using these tools?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
I mean, yeah. From all around the world. Africa, 2 or 3 people organizations, from India, from Europe, of course, South America.
Wow.
The thing is that we haven't yet given, as we said, the complete documentation for these people to replicate the machines. And it is not as easy as software, just copy paste.
Right.
So you have to have the infrastructure to create also the machines.
Right.
And this needs some preparation, and then going through the documentation, understanding, and then building. Yes, but wow, interest from all around the world.
That's great. So are they being, like, I know you guys are going to be releasing plans for the actual machines and such, but are you also releasing any plans or documentation for, as you said, the preparation portion of this, or is that, or is there like a general list of tools that you guys have used that other people end up getting?
I think we have a list of the current tools at Factory Farm, but generally, right now, we're not focused on the infrastructure.
Prep. Sure.
Yes. Sure. We try to share now the designs. Right now, we're in construction, so we're building a habitat lab where people can live. The prototypers and documenters.
Right.
and a construction site, and we're sharing the designs,
Okay. Yeah,
the
and
3D designs of the buildings.
yeah.
We're sharing partially the progress, so
Right.
how the building gets built, but it's not again like full
Right.
concrete documentation
Right.
how this could be
Right.
replicated. So
Well, I mean,
the
you guys
focus
have
is more on the GVCS.
Yeah, you guys have enough documentation as it is with just the global village construction set. Not to,
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Now,
So
with that said, though, when they get more of the tools designed and ready to go, they're going to be able to come up with a specific order in which you can build them, because some of them can be built without a lot of infrastructure.
right,
And you can use the ones that you've built to build the rest of them.
right,
You can bring yourself up to the level where the set will be able to repair itself, where parts out of one thing can go into other things if something breaks and allow you to create a new part, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Exactly.
beauty of it. It's great.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. So then let's see. You guys have 4 tools currently at a final state. I saw on the website that the goal was by the end of 2012 to have all 50 tools done. Given that 4 tools are done now at the end of 2011, how likely is it that they're going to be done by 2012, or is there a new goal date?
Well, that's a big goal. What we have to consider here is that we will get the resources needed to complete the goal. So this includes money. Basically, it's quite possible. For this to happen, we need the people. We need the infrastructure to accommodate more people, and then we need the people for the prototyping, and plus funding.
Yeah.
And I guess more factors.
Sure.
The plan is next year. You have 12 prototypers. At some point, I think we start with 4 documenters, and at some point there will be also 12. And all they will do parallel work. So some prototypers will start with one machine, others with another. And in this way you can prototype in parallel.
Sure. So I think it's interesting. I mean, you guys are essentially creating competition for the current manufacturers of tools, like these farm tools and such. Have they been worried, or have they been helping? Because I mean, they obviously have their own blueprints for their tools. Like, have they offered to give you guys older versions of them, or let you work with the people who designed them, etc.?
Well, from big companies, no. It is mostly person to person. So you're speaking with the people whether they would like to open source their knowledge. And some people agree. I mean, they're happy to do it. And also some organizations, but I guess until now we didn't have really success with organizations or a larger group of people helping the project.
But have you guys contacted any of these larger companies to see if they'd be willing to help out, or is that kind of counterproductive? I don't know.
I'm not sure whether we've done this. I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I didn't know if you guys. Hopefully, you guys wouldn't get any trouble from these companies. But but it's always
Let's
a
see.
possibility.
I mean, we're totally open.
Right.
So this is what we're pursuing. We want to open source the machines,
Right.
and we're totally open for people, organizations, or companies who would like to work on that.
Right. Right.
So maybe an easier way to approach that subject is how much trouble goes into making sure that the designs are such that nothing is patented, that everything can be open sourced without any companies being able to come up with lawsuits to try to shut it down.
Yes, this is one very important part of the design work. So the people who are doing the designs, either they have to have already the knowledge, or they have to research whether the design violates some patents.
Wow.
That can be an extremely difficult and expensive process. Patent searches are expensive. Patent attorneys are expensive.
Yeah. So, and do you guys have a patent attorney who's helping out with this?
I'm not aware.
Ah. All right, patent attorneys out there. Someone get on board. Stat. Interesting. Okay. And I guess there's a lot of collaboration, obviously from around the world. Like you're in Germany, but the factory farm is in what, Missouri, U.S.?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So middle of the U.S. What kind of tools do you guys use for collaboration, and how do you guys manage all of the different people from the different areas?
Tools, we have the wiki for common information sharing, and the communication is just through email, Skype.
Wow.
Mostly.
Wow.
Yes.
And how many people are working on this? Do you know, like volunteers and such?
Oh, wow. That's really hard question. Oh,
like, is there a core group of people with, etc.,
partially yes, but it's changing also. So like a few months ago, we were about 77 people officially. There's one page development team in the wiki. We were about 77. And what I noticed is that all these people are only one part of the people with which I spoke. So with the people I had contact, and these are people who had either more contribution to OSC or just a little bit, I expect like, let's say 100 or 150 people. And the thing is that I'm not aware of all the people who have contributed or are contributing right now to OSC. So it's, I don't know, really.
Sure.
That is a wonderful problem to have, though. There's so many people helping that, you can't even really keep track of all the helpful people. I mean, that's a good thing.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
So, yeah, my expectations at that time were like, well, let's say 300-400 people, maybe this year, who were helping or who are helping. And after the TED Talk and so much attention, well,
a lot more than.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even counting all of the people who are just helping financially through Kickstarter. It's like there's got to be thousands and thousands of people who have donated to it.
Yes. The Kickstarter right now, it has more than 1,000, so...
That's great. That's great. So then, in terms of like money and such, are there specific budgets for each tool, or like how are you guys? It's kind of hard to say because most of it, if not all of it, is donated money. So, how do you guys end up budgeting all that?
Yes, so on average for the prototypes, we have defined on average you have 50K.
Okay.
For the 3 versions.
Okay.
Of a machine. some machines are more simple. They need less money, but some machines need much more money than 50K.
Sure.
As money-wise, all the donations and whatever money comes, I cannot tell for sure how much is that, but it's like the majority of it goes into the GVCS development, and of course now for the construction. And a small amount goes to the technical infrastructure at factory farm.
Sure. I mean, you
which
have to
means,
have that at least.
Yes, which is energy, internet, or small stuff like that.
Sure. No, you can't eat. What are you talking about? Wow. I think this is such an amazing project.
It really is,
Because-
and I think everyone agrees on
Wow.
this point that it is. It's one of the best things that we could be doing with our collective human effort right now.
I mean,
It's just a
the
great
best. Like all of them, I think it's great that all the money and the time of these people goes into opening up the documentation of these tools that are, I mean, they're not even like fluffy tools. You know, it's not like you're giving someone a feather boa, you know, to make them feel pretty or something. It's like actually tools to help people survive and to help people be able to support themselves without relying on the global economy, so to speak, you know. And I am just in awe, So like, what are, you know, I am surprised that hundreds of thousands of people aren't involved. You know, are there certain misconceptions about the project that are holding it back, or, you know, like, what is it? What's keeping the rest of the world from jumping on board?
Well, I think they were
Desire.
just waiting for it to be on ZombieTech so that they could hear about it.
Oh, I guess.
You know, they're so worried about zombies, they're not paying attention to Kickstarter enough.
Well, if you're worried about zombies, go help the open source ecology people. Goodness gracious.
I really think it comes to decision how you want to live. Because for me, that's how I got involved. I was searching for basically sustainability projects which are good for humanity. I searched 15 months in my free time, so I had the usual software job. And in all other free time, I was looking, okay, what are doing the people? What's happening? What's useful? Why it's useful? For who it's useful? To what degree? And they were very interesting projects, but all of them were like only in one direction.
Sure.
Food, renewable energy, and stuff like that. And when I found about open source ecology, it was wow.
Yeah.
It's integrated like maybe not all of what I have seen, but a lot
Right.
into one project. And basically this was the best project which I found, and I became a true fan. This was August last year, and in December, at the end of December, I understood that I don't know anything about open source ecology because it's just so broad, so much, and I just saw that I don't know anything. So I spent like 1 week just reading the wiki and
Yeah.
looking through all the videos
Yeah.
and just learn. Wow, that's so cool! And learn what is it about, and learn more. And I had to spend 1 week just to get an overview about the project.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, as a software developer, it's not really your job in life to know how to use a plasma cutter, let alone how to design one from scratch, right?
Yes, that's true. But I mean, if you're looking at open source ecology and all the good things which are embedded in the project and the implications of that, it's just a lot. And So I got some overview, and then in April, when we had the TED Talk, we had really a lot of work. And I mean, for open source ecology. So I worked at my normal work, and then I go back at home and start with open source ecology. And the first week, I slept 5 hours. There was so much work. And then I just saw that, well, you have to make a choice. How do you want to live? Do you want still to continue the usual way, or do you really want to see this happen? And do you really want to help this happen?
Yeah.
And it really comes to a decision for the person itself, whether he would like to take the step. And it's just amazing. I mean, when I took the decision, wow.
So are you full-time involved then with open source ecology?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's great.
See, it's people like Nikolay here that are taking the advantage that they've been given as part of the, I guess, the upper echelon of technology-based society here. And instead of just living suspended up in the air by what's been done in the past to bring them up to that level, he's made a decision to use that position to try to lend a hand to help other people join him up there. And that is a difficult decision. And most people choose the other route. They choose to just go on with their lives and pretend that there aren't any problems in the world, and they don't do anything to help. So thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. We don't, really need your help. We have everything we need around us, but we can still appreciate that what you're doing is going to help a lot of people.
Yeah.
So everybody involved in the project, thank you. It's appreciated.
Agreed. Wow. So what so you've mentioned in terms of what people can do, obviously donate their money, donate even their expertise in terms of designing oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, it's not just about money or whatever. It's just see how you would like to contribute. It's so simple.
That's great. So, I was thinking back to when you were talking about like all of the different communities that have contacted you. What happens to communities where where reading and language is a difficult issue?
Oh, I didn't have such an example.
No?
I mean, I think we're a little bit far with experience with such communities. I spoke with 2-3 people from Africa, which told me that they have some infrastructure to start doing this, but after that we didn't keep in touch, so I don't know what happened. What I want to say with that is that there was a strong interest. So, and the people saw that they could teach the young people in Africa to build, for example, the CB press, and just there was this strong interest, and they saw the potential. Until now, we don't have some real example.
Okay. Well, I mean, and you guys have 4 tools done out of the 50, so it's not until you're able to roll those out really at the end of this year that you'll be able to see how that affects. Gotcha.
Yes, and it's mostly because of the documentation.
Now, do
So
you know?
so
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, so when you have the documentation, I think there were also somebody interested about replicating the CB press in Africa, if I'm not wrong, recently.
Oh, okay.
And I think so. From what you need for the replication is the infrastructure,
Yeah.
documentation, and skills. People.
Sure.
That's what's needed.
Sure.
And so, yeah, documentation should be finished, and then we expect replications.
Yeah, so it's good that the documentation set is being developed in English, because English is sort of like for technical stuff, it's the most obvious choice. But are there plans to start bringing in translators at some point to create localized versions?
Plans from factory farm? No. So it again comes to the people.
Okay.
Uh,
And that
we're-
makes sense. I mean, it's an open source project, and whoever wants to help improve it by, creating a localized version for their own native speaking area, it's up to them to do it. And that's the way to approach it, I think.
Yes, one of the easiest way for now is in the wiki. We have, every page in the wiki, you can translate it into, I think, the most common languages. They're
Yeah, I
like-
noticed that it has the Google machine translation built right into it, which is kind of neat.
Not only. I mean, there's also maybe not in every page, but for some pages, you can put a header, a translation header, and then you can create a page in which you just translate the text in your language.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's possible.
So, Addie, you speak 2 languages. 3 languages, actually. Are you going to start translating pages?
I don't think I'm that good.
You going to do a Mandarin version here?
They might look at my writing and wonder what third grader came along to try to attack it, but no, I'm not quite that good. But I mean, I guess that's a good thing about using a wiki, is that you can just use the online resources that are available to do such translation things, and that way you don't have to hire, translators specifically.
Now, I had a
do that.
question. I saw some mention of a computer-aided design, computer-aided machining software platform. What's going on with that?
Can you explain more? What kind of software platform?
Well, I saw on the site that they were talking about potentially doing CAD-CAM stuff, and that would allow you guys to use your own open format for saving all of the design documents, the blueprints, and the G-code and stuff like that for actually replicating and building.
Yes. I think there was. I still don't know the details, but I think there's still not an open source or good open source CADCAM system which integrates the whole process of designing and producing the files for manufacturing. And I think that's the goal of this project, to make it open source and also to make it easier, because I think there were some steps which are taking too much time.
Yeah. Are there enough people involved working on that aspect, or do you guys need more programmers?
On this aspect, I think I'm not aware of somebody working right now on that.
Okay. Well, a lot
And-
of our listeners are experienced in software design, and a lot of them are experienced in manufacturing and computer-aided machining and computer-aided design. So, if any of you guys out there have the free time and you're looking for something good to spend it on, definitely
This
check
is the
out
place.
this project, because they could use your help.
Yeah, that would be great. Just send an email.
So I know that a lot of these tools seem to require gas or oil for functioning. Are there plans on making them more earth-friendly?
Well,
Yes.
they have designs for gasifier, steam generator, steam engine, solar collector, and that sort of thing. And I'm sure that the idea is that once they have those things up, they can pretty much phase out petroleum-based power cube.
Exactly. So for now, we're using still or some of the petroleum-based fuels only because we want to be able to create the machines now. And if we have a technology which is earth-friendly, then we use it and replace the old technologies.
Gotcha. Huh. And so I know, so Whisker was just asking about software folks. Are most of the people required to like take a crash course in learning how to weld or learning about like manufacturing in order to help at the factory farm?
It depends. It depends. Some people are coming with skills. There were people who came without welding skills, but nevertheless, they could integrate very well in the production run. So I think it's on a case-by-case basis.
Okay. Wow.
All right, we're approaching our 10-minute mark here. So we've gone through most of this episode without talking too much about zombies. So,
But that's because, I mean, I'm just going to reiterate. When the zombies come and when they kill all
the guys over at the factory
people,
farm are going to survive, obviously.
Exactly. That is exact. Well, okay, I have a question then. Are you guys doing any zombie defense projects?
I am not aware of that.
All right,
So-
Nikolay, you're gonna have to get on that.
Hey, this is a real problem. I mean, if zombies show up at the farm, okay, and
I guess we can feed them. We have food.
Well, you have people.
But not people. We can give them food and place to sleep.
I don't know if you want to give zombies that, but but your generosity, I'm sure, is appreciated. So,
Or we can, what else we can do is we can teach them
you can teach zombies.
to build their own community.
self-sustaining, green, open community of zombies.
Oh, that's great. Well, what are they gonna do? They're gonna make like people farms, and that won't be very good.
Oh, okay, that wasn't a good example.
You're a pacifist, aren't you? So,
Now,
gosh.
Addie has a set of questions that we ask all of our guests, just so that we can keep at least one thing about each episode the same. Because, you know, we talk to so many different people that do so many different interesting things. It's always a bit of a roller coaster ride. But at the tail end of the show here, she likes to ask a couple of questions.
That's true. So, what 3 tools? And you know, I would even say that.
This is a really funny question for this particular guest.
Well, I
what
know.
3 tools? Well, not 3. He only needs 1 tool, the Global Village Construction Set.
All right, that's cheating, though. All right, but you know what? You know what? For sake of awesomeness, I will allow you to consider the Global Village Construction Set as a single tool. I don't know how you're going to carry it on your back, but
Oh, okay.
what 3 tools would you bring to your zombie apocalypse bunker?
Oh. Okay, let's say the GVCS, and I would not bring tools. I would bring more people.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, we need people for that, for sure. And also some communication devices to communicate with the other people.
Okay. Or what communication device would you go for?
I'm not sure. Something which gives freedom to the people.
Addie is a ham radio operator, so she's very much interested in the communications aspect of this.
That's true. You know, since you're going to be the one bringing the GVCS, I think we might have to give you the coordinates to our zombie apocalypse bunker. Because, heck yeah, if we can get all those tools,
That's one
I'm
thing
sure
that
we'll
I
be
do
just fine.
that I do note is missing from the GVCS. I don't see any radio equipment in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
It's true. Some of the machines here do not include. There are more aspects. So from one side, the GVCS is just the starting point, and you could build it later. The other point is that I don't know how it's with the radio, but if it's easy to be done, and if they're already do-it-yourself radio and stuff like that, then we're not
Not covering that.
included
Sure.
in the set.
That makes sense. There are a lot of plans for DIY radios now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yep. So you got it. So that's
We have it. I mean, we as humanity have it open sourced.
Got it. And let's see. Where would you go in the event of a zombie apocalypse? Like, would you stay in Germany, or is there like another place you would head off to?
I guess I will be there where I am.
Right where you are.
Yes, I don't know where, but I'll be there, and the first thing I'll do is but connect with the people and see what we want to do and what should be done.
Sure.
We're working on building our ability to connect with our group of people that in case anything were to happen to the internet or anything like that, we're working on antennas and radios and such so that we can do long distance communication completely separate from the global infrastructure. It's kind of fun. It's Addie's project. She's super smart.
Yeah.
Do you open source it?
I think a lot of what we'll be doing will be open source, yeah.
Yeah. As far as I'm currently aware.
One of our friends, Mark Van de Wettering, is open sourcing his satellite tracker program that runs on a Gameduino microcontroller. And another friend of ours is taking that open source project and creating an open source
antenna positioner.
Yeah, satellite antenna positioner that can automatically move the antenna to track satellites across the sky. And then I think as a group, we'll be working on some radio designs that will be able to talk through those satellites to one another. So if we have, one node in one part of the country and one in the other, both the antennas can track the same satellite at the same time, and we can actually talk through.
Perfect. So you're open sourcing the communication infrastructure.
There we go. We've got that aspect covered then. Cool. Gosh,
And that's most of what we actually do outside of our ZombieTech show. We have our own internet
little
show
DIY
where
thing.
we open source lots of ideas, showing people how to do things.
Yeah. But gosh, guys, folks, listening to this, if you're tired of, well, I don't know how you can be tired of LEDs, blinky LEDs, but if you're tired of little blinky LEDs and little Arduino things, and you want to work on helping, designing hardcore stuff, like I'll just go through the list here: CEB press, cement mixer, sawmill, tractor, bulldozer, seeder, hay rake, backhoe, micro tractor, rototiller. I mean, just endless projects that need to be done for this. If you want to donate your time, would they contact you, or do they just contact or look through the wiki to see where they can contact someone to?
Just check the wiki.
Okay.
All the information is there.
Okay.
And actually, if you have experience with Arduino, you can upgrade your skills, and you can automate the CB press, because it's using already Arduino, and other machines are using Arduino too.
Awesome. Cool. And the site is opensourceecology.org. It's really a very extensive site. It took, like, the FAQ alone, I had to figure out what questions to ask that weren't already answered by the FAQ, because it's pretty comprehensive. And do you have any sites that you want to advertise, or?
I think one easier way to say that is, obviously, you can find all this stuff at opensourceecology.org, but we're wondering, Nikolay, are there any other projects that you're aware of that you'd like people to know about?
Sure, that's a good one.
Okay. I mean, you have open source ecology. We will create something in Europe with open source ecology.
Okay.
And so the website is osceurope.org.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you going to be heading that up? Is that going to be your baby?
It's no one person's baby, but we're growing community. We're already like 10 serious people, 20 who are partially committed, and we're just now exploring the options, what we want to do.
Working on getting some land out there?
Oh yeah. For now, direction is Spain, and we'll check one land there. How
Spain.
It is. Yeah.
Heck yeah, let's go to Spain.
Yeah. Yeah, forget that American farm.
Forget Missouri. We're going to Spain.
Yeah.
That's great.
Y'all accept Americans over there, right?
Well,
as long as we can use a welder.
Make ourselves useful. Cool.
No, I mean, it will be really great if we have more places for prototyping the technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will bring so much more open source technology and innovation and so on.
Yeah.
It'll be really, really interesting to me when in a couple of years here, when everything is done, everything's up, and we start to see it happening in developing countries, and when you start to see it sort of cross over with Kiva. If you guys don't know what Kiva is, Kiva.org is sort of a bank for developing countries, where the source of the money is just, people who say, okay, I've got this extra money, I'm going to just lend it out to folks who can't get loans. So, I could go to Kiva, put my money up there and say, lend it out to somebody in, Central Africa, and they could use it to pick up the things that they need to get started for building their global village construction set. They pay me back, and, that's good and dandy, but then they've got their tools ready and they can start being self-sufficient. The two projects work very well together, I think.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nikolay, for coming to talk to us. And hopefully, if 2012, at the end of the year next year, maybe we can get you on again and see how the progress is going on then.
Yeah, would be glad to.
Cool.
All right. Thank you, Nikolay. We very much appreciate you coming on. As we said before, you can find out all the information about this, opensourceecology.org/wiki for the wiki. And you can get this show every week at ZombieTech.tv. There's an RSS feed, an iTunes link. You can get it automatically downloaded to your phone, whatever you want to do. and we put it up every single Thursday.
Yep.
That's it for me, Addie.
That's it.
All right.
We'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.